We need to develop a new hammer with a tracking device and self-destructive device that goes
GPS,
off if you don't forward the
GPS
hammer.
inside
A GPS, yeah, track. We could be able to track you and also self-destruct if you don't give it up.
So if you missed this podcast from EVW, you missed a really entertaining one. Had Hermes Gasparini, Denis Saplenkov, John Brzenk, and they were talking about a lot of various topics, including the hammer. This is the segment I want to share where they're talking about the hammer. John had a pretty funny comment. Meanwhile, in the live stream, Devin was in the chat putting the cat emoji for Denis, also calling Denis a liar because Denis claimed that the hammer, he did not know that he was supposed to pass it to the next champion. And Devin was asking to be invited into the podcast, but he did not get invited into the podcast. So I'm sure he was not happy hearing Denis spewing what he believes to be lies. So let's take a look at this clip here.
Do I even look like the guy who takes the hammer and then holds onto it saying, no, it's mine, I don't want to send it away? Like, there is no problem. If Devin told me right away it should be passed on, send it to him, I would have done it. And a year and a half ago, around that, Elmar, my friend from Baku, he made the delivery. And I don't even have the hammer for a year and a half, and people are texting me like, give up the hammer, give up the hammer. And yes, and after he sent it to Morozov lost to Vitaly, and he never sent the hammer to Vitaly, and Devin isn't messaging Morozov, which is weird. Why isn't he doing that? But,
we need to develop a new hammer with a tracking device and self-destructive device that goes GPS, off if you don't forward the hammer. A GPS, yeah, track. We could be able to track you and also self-destruct if you don't give it up.
John Brzenk with the comedic relief to this situation. So really the only thing this podcast was missing was having Devin come on and go at it with Saplenkov. I think for the viewing pleasure that would have been entertaining, although don't want to scare off Denis too much. I think they were doing a lot of bringing up Denis, talking about how he's basically one of the best left arms of all time. That's what John Brzenk said in this podcast, as well as Hermes was praising Denis's ability. So I don't think Robert wanted to bring on Devin. I think that seemed to be pretty obvious. Devin was asking to join the podcast, but that was not the case. Maybe they'll do a separate one at some point with Denis and Devin. I think a lot of people would want to see that. Let me know in the comments if you would want to see Denis and Devin on a podcast together. Although Denis basically said in this podcast as well that he kind of is blacklisting Devin from his life and doesn't even want to really acknowledge him or engage with him whatsoever. So that's interesting. But let's look, like I said, let's look at his Instagram. This is the message that Devin had sent to Denis basically when he was sending him the hammer after he lost in 2018, after, he got pulled across the table, so to speak. He said, I hope that over the years this hammer has passed from champion to champion and becomes a symbol for us all. While it's yours, make whatever changes you like, but make sure your name is on it before it leaves your hands. All the best, Denis. So that was the message that I guess Denis misinterpreted, or whatever the confusion was, that it took him so long to send the hammer to Morozov, even though Vitaly should have it now, but apparently Morozov still has it. So anyways, interesting podcast. Would be cool to see Denis, Saplenkov, Morozov, and Devin Larratt on a podcast. Imagine that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section and hit like and subscribe, guys.